wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, famines and pestilences, a global surge in lawlessness, and a decline in faith. Jesus told his disciples on the Mount of Olives that these would be the signs, the birth pains, that would precede his return and the end of the age. For nearly 2,000 years, people have looked at the world around them and asked the same question: are we the final generation? We're taking that ancient checklist given by Jesus himself and holding it up to the headlines of the 21st century. You decide if we are living in the last days. The study of the signs of the times is not about date setting, which Jesus strictly forbade. It's about discernment. It's about recognizing the season. Jesus rebuked the Pharisees for being able to predict the weather by looking at the sky, but being unable to discern the signs of the times. He expected his followers to be spiritually aware, to see the convergence of events that would signal his imminent return. The stakes are clear. To be unaware is to be caught by surprise, like the world in the days of Noah. To be aware is to be watchful, ready, and living with a sense of urgency and purpose. So, let's examine the evidence, using Christ's own words in Matthew 24 as our guide, and see how our world today measures up. The first sign Jesus gave was the sign of deception. He said, "See that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will lead many astray." While we have seen cult leaders throughout history, the deception of our age is more subtle and widespread. It's the spirit of Antichrist that denies the biblical Jesus and replaces him with a more palatable, culturally acceptable version. It is the rise of a global spirituality that preaches many paths to God, directly contradicting Christ's claim to be the only way. Furthermore, Jesus warned of false prophets who will perform great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. We live in an age of unprecedented media saturation, where false teachers can broadcast their deceptive messages to millions with the click of a button. The rise of doctrines of demons, as the Apostle Paul called them, disguised as self-help and New Age enlightenment, is a clear fulfillment of this warning. The sound of this deception is the constant hum of media, offering 1,000 different truths, but denying the one absolute truth. The second sign Jesus mentioned is the sign of disputes among nations. He said, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." The 20th century was the bloodiest in human history, with 2 world wars and countless other conflicts. Today, we live in a state of perpetual tension. We see the rise of aggressive nationalism in Russia and China, instability in the Middle East, and volatile conflicts across Africa. While there have always been wars, the global scale and destructive potential of modern warfare, with nuclear weapons capable of annihilating the planet, is unique to our time. The rumors of wars are broadcast 24/7 on our news channels, creating a constant atmosphere of global anxiety and instability, exactly as Jesus described. The third sign on the checklist is disasters, both natural and man-made. Jesus continued, "And there will be famines and earthquakes in various places." Organizations like the World Food Program report that hundreds of millions of people are facing acute food insecurity. Global supply chains are fragile, and climate events are causing crop failures worldwide. At the same time, the U.S. Geological Survey confirms that there has been a significant increase in the number of major earthquakes recorded in recent decades. Jesus also mentioned pestilences, or plagues. In the last few years, the world has been brought to its knees by a global pandemic that shut down economies, disrupted lives, and demonstrated how quickly a virus can spread across our interconnected world. Jesus said these things were like the beginning of the birth pains, meaning they would increase in frequency and intensity as the end draws near. The feeling is one of a world groaning, a planet under a level of stress it has never before experienced. The fourth sign is a profound societal and moral decay. Jesus prophesied, "And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold." We are witnessing a global breakdown of law and order and a rejection of the biblical foundations of morality that have guided Western civilization for centuries. The concept of absolute truth is derided, and morality has become relative and subjective. This increase in lawlessness is not just about crime rates. It's a rebellion against God's divine order. As a result, genuine, self-sacrificial love, the love that characterizes God's people, is growing cold, replaced by self-love, narcissism, and division. The Apostle Paul described this generation perfectly in his letter to Timothy, saying that in the last days people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power. This is a perfect description of our modern culture. The final and most important sign Jesus gave is the sign of the gospel's global reach. He said, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." For most of human history, this was an impossibility. But in our generation, through technology, satellite broadcasts, the internet, and the tireless work of Bible translators, the gospel has now reached, or is capable of reaching, virtually every nation on earth. Organizations like Wycliffe Bible Translators are on the verge of ensuring that every people group has the scripture in their own language. Our generation is the first in history to see the fulfillment of this great commission on a global scale. The climax of this comparison is not to set a date, but to recognize a convergence. Any one of these signs in isolation could be dismissed. But when we see all of them, religious deception, global conflict, natural disasters, moral decay, and the worldwide proclamation of the gospel, all converging and intensifying at the same time, it paints a powerful and compelling picture. The reveal is that we are not just seeing isolated events, but the fulfillment of a 2,000-year-old prophetic pattern. The birth pains are getting stronger and closer together. The fallout of this understanding is not fear, but a sense of sober urgency. It's a call to wake up from spiritual slumber and to live with purpose. If the time is indeed short, then our priorities must change. Our focus should shift from temporary earthly pursuits to eternal realities. It's a call to share the gospel with those who are lost, to love our families, to serve our churches, and to purify our hearts, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Jesus concluded his sermon on the signs of the times with a simple command: "Therefore stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming." The signs are not for our speculation, but for our preparation. They are God's gracious alarm clock, rousing us before the dawn of eternity. If this analysis of the signs of the times resonates with you and you want to continue to explore our world through the clear lens of biblical prophecy, subscribe to our channel and join a community that is watching, waiting, and working until he returns.